So I'm just going to start with the quote that I put in the email I sent you guys, and then I'm going to ask kind of one of the takeaways that I had you guys fill out. So it should all still be pretty fresh in your mind, just so that we can kind of, like, everyone can hear what you guys are thinking about. Okay. So the quote is, young players are leaders only when they are playing well. That's not leadership. Anyone can lead the league in high fives when things are going well, but during adversity, those times when things are not going well is when you need leaders in your group. So I guess I just kind of wanted to open it up and have you guys share a couple of things that you remember from the fall that kind of like shook up our team a little bit, and then kind of how we refocused back to what we were trying to do.
I didn't actually write about this because I thought about it just now, but a great example is we had a 10-game win streak, and then we ended up losing a game we shouldn't have lost. So, of course, we were shaken up by that because it was like, oh, no, the magic is over. Like, we can't do this anymore. But then we bounced back, and that's what's most important. That's another, like, example of how you can be a setback, but then get right back on the road.
KJ, that's actually crazy that you said that, because that was the instance that I had wrote about. And for me, it was like, that was a big moment for me because I was super hyped that we were on like such a winning streak, especially for the courage the motivation that I was getting worked up for over that. And then when we lost, it was like everybody afterwards was talking about, oh man, like what now? Like, is it going to be the same thing like last year where we do really good in the spring and then we don't do so well like afterwards? But I think that next game coming back, when all of us were like, I remember Emma was the one who was saying it. She was saying, like, no, dude, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen like that. Like, we're a different team this year. Like, we've got it. And she was saying all the encouraging words that Abby, you wrote in the email. Like, no, next one. Like, that one's in the past. Like, next one. We got the next one. And that was so motivating to me because usually I would get really stuck in that moment of being like, man, we lost. But when Emma was saying those words to me, it was like, you know what? She's right. Like, why can't we do this? And then after that, like, it just felt like it was a snowball effect afterwards of just, I'm not going to let any kind of point affect us.
We talked a lot about winning moments. You guys remember that all during the fall? We talked about just be in the moment, be present, and win this moment, because that's the only one we can control. We can't affect what's already happened, and we can't affect the future yet, but win this moment. And if you break that up, it goes to so many microcosms, and you can go down the rabbit hole so deep on this. But, anything from condition to where you're like, oh, I just can't. I got to stop. It's like, no. Just 5 more steps. I can go 5 more steps. And then you're like, I can go 5 more. Or, reps in the weight room. It's, I can't. I'm done. I can do 1 more. Maybe I can go 1 more. And then pretty soon you finished your set, right? It's so many microcosms. It's, in the season we give up a run of 3 or 4 and you're just like, oh man, we're done. It's like, no. Just win this moment, win this pass, or win this set, or this serve, or this attack. Let's be better on this one play. And you start stringing that together, and then all of a sudden you can dig yourself out of things.
This doesn't really have to do with what KJ or Tegan said. It's on like a smaller level, but I think within each individual game, like Abby, in the email, you also talked about how part of leadership is like getting to know your teammates and getting to know what ways that they feel most encouraged when you speak to them. Mm-hmm. And I think like what Tegan was saying, like how Emma knew exactly what to say to just like get her motivated. And I think that that's really important for all of us to like try and get better at, because everybody's going to have a bad day at some point, or everybody's going to have an off day where they're just kind of in their head, or they're not playing like they know they can play. And each of us, no matter if we normally start or not, like can have a role in that of like encouraging each other to be motivated.
Trap, I thought that was a really good point. But remember, if we rewind our Zooms all the way back to like the first one with the leadership stuff, one of your guys' things you all commented on or said in one way or another was that you wanted to form a little bit better relations with your teammates and get to know them a little bit deeper. And I think what Trap mentioned is all part of that, right? Knowing what buttons to push that work for what people. For some people, it's like, hey, get your head in the game. The other people, it's like, hey, you got it, and everyone's a little different. So those are all things that in July, when you guys report, you can kind of start to have those conversations face-to-face, because I think those might be easier face-to-face or maybe in the moment. And but I think those are all important to have. So Trap, I'm stoked you brought that up.